We'll be joined in just a minute by some of our ACR colleagues, and also Basil Valentine is going to be joining us as well. Should be for a lively discussion. Actually, we have, I see them appearing now. Hopefully we have our audio and video set up okay. So let me see if we can bring on, this is Ruckus, Adam Clark. Ruckus, how you doing?
I am well, Patrick. Well, as well as I can be with what's happening all around us, metaphorically and physically in some cases.
Yes, that's quite a scene in the background there.
I was inspired by the one of my favorite memes of all time, which is, of course, you write what you're told, thanks to the corporate news, which is exactly a perfect. That's the poster child for what we're dealing with today. That we can't get away with the things that we're seeing happening around the world, in particular with conflicts on other parts of the world, without them. And of course, now, as you know, Patrick, they are slowly being replaced by the new media. One Mr. Elon Musk, who reminds us all, "You are the media," while acting like a complete goofball and creating bizarre anime companions for humanity to never again create children. That will be left to him, I suppose. But yep, here we are.
He just posted a robot serving popcorn, and he says, in a few years, this is what the future is going to be like. And I'm like, so this guy doesn't really want humans around. That's the vibe I'm getting from Elon. So yeah, the American Party. What a clown. Anyway, Hesher, Bryan McClain joining us here, host of the Boiler Room. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Pat. Good to be here.
I see you've got the apocalyptic background going as well. You and Ruckus are in the same sort of frame of mind there.
We bring the analog to the apocalypse. You know, you got to have typewriters and, CD players and LP players,
CB radios.
Yeah, old school recorders and stuff, because, the internet's just turned to trash.
Well, it's going to get better with AI, isn't it? You watch agents posting things on your feed that aren't even done by humans.
Yeah, so. I can't wait to not have to be on social media anymore and have my agent just go out there and do these things for me. I don't know what I'll do with all that spare time. I mean, I feel like I was on the hamster wheel. So cool, great, bring it on. Just blow up the world, destroy all the cultures, and give me an AI agent so I don't have to read emails anymore. Cool, good trade.
Both of you have very good radio voices, so I think you should donate your voice or see if you can license it. At least make some money, because everyone's making videos with AI vocals and then stealing the faces of actual YouTube commentators, but putting another script on it. Have you guys seen this? That's half the content on YouTube now.
No, they talk about undermining the internet, or the end of the internet, and I think this is exactly what we're looking at right here. There's a huge rug pull and undermining going on right now. It's actually an undermining of reality, if we even had something close to that on the internet up until the last 3, 4, 5 years. But now everything is questionable. Everything.
Yeah, there's a debate going on as to whether Benny Johnson is actually an AI generated avatar.
We had one of those in our Boiler Room back chat the other night about whether Michelle Obama's podcast was AI generated or not, because it just doesn't make sense or seem real.
Doesn't seem real. Yes. And we bring Basil Valentine up onto the screen as well. So we got some technical difficulties. We'll come back to Basil. Hold on for a moment. Anyway, Ruckus, what did you think about the Trump? I don't know, have either of you guys looked at this Trump lawsuit?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it.
Give us the rundown of this. So Rupert Murdoch is being targeted by Trump in this mega lawsuit.
I will start by adding one of the newer pieces of information right out of that. We'll do this Quentin Tarantino style, right? Start at the end. Apparently, allegedly, before this story came out, J.D. Vance was having secretive behind closed doors meetings with one Rupert Murdoch. So just throwing that out there, very, very interesting timing there, because not long after his most recent visit with said Mr. Rupert Murdoch, They came out with this story, apparently, allegedly, that Donald Trump sent some sort of body message as a birthday gift to one Jeffrey Epstein, and it included like a little, crude hand-drawn thing. I mean, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Not as good as Hunter Biden's artwork, of course, but yes, Donald Trump allegedly drew a little hand-drawn picture of a girl with her top exposed, or some little crude stick figure thing as a joke, right? The letter that he allegedly wrote was so clearly fake that immediately everybody, in particular Mr. Trump, said, "Oh, this is made up by the crazy leftist lunatics. They're just making this up. It's fake news." He did his whole shtick, waved his hands around, played the Jedi mind trick, and then turned around and said he's going to be suing the outlet for slander. So I believe it was the Wall Street Journal that released this alleged letter. But it's, to me, what I was discussing about this on Boiler Room is I immediately thought if anybody faked this, it's somebody from Trump's side to justify, because he's been screaming up and down recently that this is fake news coming from the left without any evidence, the Epstein files, that is. And then all of a sudden, something that clearly looks like anyone with half a brain would say, "Oh, yeah, somebody made that up." They attach the left to that and they say, "Oh, yeah, Trump was right." And it makes Trump look like the hero again. So I think if anybody faked it, and I think they did, it probably came from his side. But that's why I'm not with this one.
I don't know what to believe these days because everyone's just lying, about everything. So I don't trust Trump. The old, let me just tell you how this works. Like the old switcheroo, this is one of the oldest scams in the book. It's when the story's real, but what's sent to the paper is fake. So the story's real. It's been corroborated by real people. But then the final article, the final piece of evidence is a forgery, and that's used to discredit the paper. This is what happened to, guess who? Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan was editor of the Daily Mirror, the only anti-Iraq war newspaper at the time in 2003 and 4. And he was fired. He had to resign because of one of these fake switcheroos. It was about British soldiers abusing Iraqi detainees in wherever it was, Bagram's in Afghanistan, but the other one, Abu Ghraib or something like that. And they're supposedly urinating on the prisoner when he had a sack over his head. And the image was photoshopped, but the story was real. And they had corroborated the sources and everything. But they supplied, so this was a setup. It was a setup to get him to resign and to put the paper into disrepute and just basically discredit any anti-war mainstream press, of which there was very little at the time, or it was weak. So I'm wondering if that's what's going on here. I'm just wondering if there's a little bit of creative chicanery going on. And certainly Trump would know how to capitalize on something like that, as you can see. This is the biggest lawsuit in history, right? Biggest ever.
It seems ridiculous. $10 billion. I feel like, like Dr. Evil is behind the price or something like that. $10 billion. It's just like, why not make it a fake number? Why not make it infinity or something like that? We're going to do 10 billion. Like, this is just so stupid. This is like completely ridiculous. It's retarded. Excuse me.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. So anyway, we got technical difficulties. Basil's got issues. I don't think we're going to be able to iron out, unfortunately. So we'll try to work on that in the background. Hopefully we can get him back. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. That's just about the most ridiculous thing I've seen. I don't know if you guys have any opinion or any feelings about what's happening in the Middle East right now. And if you believe, I don't know how it's being covered. How is this being covered generally? Give us the man on the street point of view in America on, or are they just not covering it, about what's happening in Syria right now?
The latter. There's very, very little talk about this whole thing. It seems everyone's distracted right now heavily over the Trump stuff. So I've been, for the longest time, been wondering why this weird kerfuffle with the Epstein files and the fallout, and Trump seems willing to throw himself on the sword and disown his supporters and everything. It has certainly kept all of the eyes off of what's been happening. And you covered two of the biggest events. I mean, that's pretty wild. They just randomly attacked Damascus and then like, oh, hey, it's Christian church, the only Catholic one. Yeah, gone. No big deal, right? So you'd think this would be making national headlines. I mean, if any other country on the planet did something even a tenth of what we just saw happen with these two most recent tragedies. And then there's been plenty of others, of course, the usual just keeps going and going. But these two alone, like, wow, and no one's talking about it. Oh, but Trump, So again, distractions.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of it, Patrick. I just went to TGP and Fox and not a whole lot. It seems like garbage. There's just a lot of flush and garbage. Top one at Fox News under the world category is Farage slams secret Afghan refugee resettlement to UK. Okay. So we're getting stuff like that. And over at TGP, it's culture wars and power politics of Washington, D.C., Tulsi Gabbard, going over old stuff, Obama intelligence.
Yeah, what is all that? I mean, what
noise? It feels like noise. So Tulsi was on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Batromo, and they're talking about manufactured intelligence against President Trump going all the way back to his first campaign. It's just this old trash. It's like gossip almost. It's literally almost like it's like this CIA intrigue, power politics, side conversations are like becoming tabloid crap now in our large media platforms to distract us from huge things like you guys were talking about.
So what? They want to investigate Obama now after 6 years, but nothing for Epstein? Did I get that right?
Who's that? That guy? That creep? Nah.
Yeah. So Tulsi's doing her bit. She's been promised something big in 2028. She's playing her cards. She's a careerist, and she's got nothing to say about Israel. Nothing to say about the fake intelligence about Iran as the DNI. No protest from her. Not good. And everyone says, no, she's a white hat. You either resign or you own it. There's nothing in between. I'm sorry. But these days, the rules of politics have changed, guys. You don't have to resign and you don't have to own it. You just waffle along for the next promotion, right?
She's a white streak, a white smear, a white smudge, not a white hat.
Cruella DeVille, well and truly. I mean, scary. The Black Widow in the White House. I think we have Basil Valentine here. Basil, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Sure, I will bring this to your attention, Basil, because I think you might want to comment on this story here. So this is in The Guardian. Lots of arrests of people supporting Palestine action here. Armed police threatened to arrest Kent protester for holding up a Palestinian flag. Officers accused Laura Merton, who also had a sign saying "Free Gaza," of supporting a proscribed organization, i.e. Palestine Action. So this is like where it's at. Officers told Laura Merton she was expressing a belief supportive of Palestine Action. So you don't have to, according to the way the police are arbitrarily interpreting this new, forbidden proscription, you don't have to support the organization. But if you express a belief that's deemed to be supportive of that organization, then it's just as bad as supporting a terrorist. The whole thing is just getting ridiculous.
Well, it's been ridiculous right from the start. A lot of people predicted that this is what would happen. There have been more arrests up and down the country and in Northern Ireland over the last few days, and I've no doubt more arrests will follow. It's all gone quiet on the Roger Waters story after he expressed support directly for Palestine action. People are taking the P, wearing wearing T-shirts saying "I support Palestine Acton." That's a borough in West London, spelled Acton, without the I. Deliberately meant to confuse law enforcement. Some of these will end up going to court, of course. And people like her, who have not expressed support for Palestine action, will be entirely exonerated, because simply saying free Gaza, free Palestine, end the genocide is not being supportive of any particular prescribed organization. So the police, never the most intelligent of bodies, Patrick, Plod, not known for his genius as a rule, will have to climb down. But what's particularly disappointing about this is that there has been no clarification from anyone in government. As soon as this happened, we should have had the Home Office saying, of course it is not illegal to say free Palestine, free Gaza, end the genocide, or hold Palestinian flags, or anything like that at all. That should have been made abundantly clear. That should have come down from the Home Office, both to the police, chief constables, superintendents, and to the general public. And that hasn't happened. There's been a very deliberate obfuscation of where the boundaries are, you see, in order to have a chilling effect on free speech. But yesterday there was a Palestine Solidarity March in central London, described by the odious Bella Warsteiner as a no-go area for Jews, something comprehensively rebuffed by pictures of the usual phalanx of Jews against genocide marchers and survivors of Holocaust descendants
and
Orthodox
rabbis marching.
Yes. It's only a no-go area, whether you're Jewish or not, if you are some kind of homicidal psychopath in favor of mass murder and mutilation of children. I do want to mention that at least 85 people were shot dead in Gaza this morning. Extraordinary that doesn't isn't the global headline everywhere, frankly. Once again, queuing up for food, about 1,000 people have now been murdered by the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, just trying to get enough bread to eat. The scenes coming out of Gaza at the moment are the worst ever. People scratching around in the dust for scraps of flour mixed with sand and rubble to try and make something that might be vaguely edible. And 85% of the population of Gaza now suffering from severe malnutrition, stage 5 malnutrition, which means that even if you get access to food at that point, the damage to your internal organs may be irreparable. So we need to think for a moment about why when 2 million people have been herded into a concentration camp, are being systematically starved to death very deliberately. But it's worth remembering that, Israeli ministers have said not a living person must survive in Gaza. We must make it more painful than death. It's not surprising, but why this should be the #1 news story on every front page in the world continuously, and not just until it ends, until long after it ends. Imagine for a moment 2 million Jewish people were being systematically starved to death in a concentration camp. We would never hear the end of it. I mean, it wouldn't be allowed to happen. There'd be a military intervention long before it got to that stage. But the systematic demonization of the Palestinian people and the so-called Israeli talking points about its defending itself and all this stuff have, I don't want to say it's made it acceptable. I mean, it's created the conditions whereby media and government can foist this reality upon us. I think that's a better way of putting it, because it's not acceptable at all. Media reaction is not acceptable. The silence from politicians is not acceptable. What we've got on screen now is a message there, which you can see was put up by the police to warn anyone on yesterday's 100,000 strong march that if they express support for a prescribed organization, they may be liable to arrest. And in the background there, as Charlie Herbert references, you can see a small number of Israel flags from the counter demonstration, the pro-genocide demonstration, which had loudspeakers with their coterie of people who were playing the Queen record, Another One Bites the Dust, mocking the endless slaughter of Palestinians. Now, I mean, this is just off the charts evil as far as I'm concerned, and it needs to be called out as such. This is really, really plumbing the depths of obscenity. And yet, that is the side that the UK government continues to favour. Only last week, the head of the Israeli Air Force, a man who has orchestrated much of the genocide, was welcomed in Britain by the RAF. A semi-secret visit. Matt Kennard have declassified the fact that he was here. Tobar, I think his name is, and he was greeted at an air show, and Israeli military plane, which had been directly involved in the genocide, landed in the UK. Our surveillance flights continue. We continue to supply arms. And of course, if you protest too vociferously against this, you're a terrorist. So it's a uniquely dark place that the world is in and the UK is in at the moment.
Okay. Basil, check your WhatsApp or Signal messaging real quick as well. You might want to have a look there. But let me go back to this. I mean, Ruckus and Hesher, I mean, this is just blatant incitement, isn't it? I mean, but this is okay. This is fine. You can do this. But if you support a domestic grassroots organization that's trying to stop the genocide, then that's not good, right?
Man, I'm sitting here looking at the private, or not the private chat, but the public chat, and people are so disgusted by this. So many people are so disgusted by this. Especially if you're the type of person that has looked at the things that are hard to look at, right? The things that Basil's describing, the things that he often brings to the show, or some of the things that are too graphic for us to put up during the show. I mean, we could put them up. They're on social media already, but we are on YouTube. They have a little stricter rules about that. But frankly, like, some of these things are so grotesque, so gruesome, that I wouldn't even put it up on screen while I'm trying to host or be a guest on a show. You know what I mean? I'm so sick of seeing it. I saw it in Ukraine for so long. And by the way, we've got people asking about Ukraine in there. Some reports of massive numbers of life loss and stuff going on there after what's happened. So I just can't even keep up with it anymore, Pat. And I see a lot of frustration. I see a lot of people in the chats. I mean, how long does this go on? How long does this go on? What is left there? What is actually left there? I mean, all this time later, and we finally get like a snip of a headline saying, "Oh yeah, well, there might have been a Christian church that was blown up." Are you freaking kidding me? Like, what about all the journalists? What about all the children that have been directly targeted by sniper fire? What about those people that are just starving beyond? They're starved, right? They're not starving anymore. They could be stage 5.
Sorry to jump in, Hesher, but a little vignette that I picked up this week is that the snipers are so bored of routinely shooting people in the head. They've been, according to the few remaining surgeons, they're continuing to kill doctors. But anyway, they've noticed that snipers are targeting particular body parts. And in particular, they've been shooting teenage boys in the testicles.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is fucking disgusting. This is fucking evil. I'm sorry. I know there's a couple Sunday schools and homeschoolers out there that listen to this show. I'm really sorry. I don't know how else to say that. EFF doesn't cover it. This is fucking terrible, and it should not be happening. That is awful, awful, awful. And just think, we have a whole world of media, right? We have We have an internet. Here we are on the internet, and we have to go to these strange little corners of it to see this, to verify that this is horrible. But once you do, it's up here. It's in your brain. You can't unsee it. It's not like watching Jihadi John or White Helmets propaganda. This is visceral. This is horrid. This is hell. And
it is. Absolutely. And the dereliction of duty by Western media is abysmal. It continues to this day. I mean, one day earlier this week, with this Holocaust underway in Gaza, BBC's #1 lead story on its website was the sacking of the MasterChef host John Turode for apparently indiscretions on the cooking program. That's the #1 story. I mean, The Guardian tonight, for example, its #1 story is money to be paid out in compensation for failures in NHS maternity hospitals. Now, that's an important matter, of course, domestically here in the UK. But the idea that that should take precedence over the ongoing, horror of Second World War dimensions in Gaza is frankly obscene. And this downplaying by the media at every stage of what's happening has the effect on people of pushing it out of their minds. Of course, is that still going on? I thought things might have improved by now. I don't understand it. Blah blah blah. And they must stand. They must be held accountable, media organizations, we hope one day at the end of all this, every bit as much as governments.
Yeah, and that I think I don't know how many hundreds have been killed recently queuing for food. I mean that whole scene.
It's about 1,000 in all, and nearly 100 today alone.
Yeah, I mean the building concentration camp rat runs to get food, and then shooting people in the seething desert heat while you're blockading food and medical supplies and water from getting into the Gaza Strip, and then you're controlling it by putting these feeding points and then using them to pick off poor Palestinians desperate to get their hands on a morsel of food, just a morsel. This is how they have sanctioned Syria to hell and back and Russia for hell and back for nothing. And this is happening, and no sanctions against Israel. I mean, come on.
Who
cash?
They get cash for it.
On the contrary, yes, United States is continuing to shovel billions of dollars their way so that they can continue with the slaughter.
What does it take? What is the horror? What's the horror threshold?
Well, it's obvious it's nothing. It's nothing now. There aren't, it was only a few months ago. Do you remember? It was all eyes on Rafah. That was the sort of celebrity meme, wasn't it? Because Rafah was the last part of the Gaza Strip that hadn't been reduced to rubble. There was still some semblance of normal life and a few buildings standing. Rafah has been completely leveled. Rafah is rubble now.
It's gone.
As simple as that. It's gone.
The whole thing is gone. The whole city is gone.
The whole thing is gone. Yeah.
They even blow up the rubble so that you won't know it was there. So there's nothing forensically that can be found there. They don't want the rubble being pushed aside years later and finding the bones of beautiful babies. Right. You know what I mean? They don't want that. Right. So they have to destroy the city, destroy the people, kill the refugees, then destroy the rubble. I mean, if there really was going to be a, Hotel Trump in Gaza, I mean, how else would you see it happening, or whatever, their greater Israel, all this bull crap that they're doing. It's sick. And one of our friends in the Discord says, these atrocities are designed to cause you to hate them, speaking of the Zionist Israeli government, with full approval of the Israeli censors, so they can claim all Jews are hated. And, there's a there there. I don't know that that's the particular design of the atrocities. I think that's one of them. That's one of the what they might consider, political Zionists might consider, a positive side effect, because they are creating this thing on the internet, particularly on X, that is generating this. It is having that effect in a lot of sense, and that's one of the things I keep bringing back up ever since Ye showed up with Nick Fuentes and Milo on Jones or
Alex
on
Jones,
X or
yeah.
whatever that was. You know, that was the flag being planted right there, whether that was organic or planned or whatever the hell that was. That was when this all started. That's when you know, this little corner, this little cul-de-sac that our commenter right there mentioned. And I hate to say it, but it's, you know, we try to avoid hatred because you become what you hate if you hate hard enough. But that is what is being bred there. And in some ways, it is a righteous hatred. You know, I don't know. I don't like using that phrase, a righteous hatred, but you know what I mean?
It's like you can hate Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and they run it on History Channel 24 hours a day.
Still get new movies and shows about it.
I mean, it's endless. They should have a Hitler channel in America because it seems like half the content on cable news is Hitler, but or you know, historical retrospectives and stuff like that. We joked about that.
This
Basil
is going
and I.
on now.
But
yes,
no, let me finish my thought. Hold on.
Patrick, yeah.
If you just allow me, please. So anyway, forget it. I forgot what I was going to say. I want to show you up on screen here. This is Pope Leo, and this is his statement here. And I want to go to Ruckus as well on this. Not that Ruckus is an expert on Catholicism, but just as a general comment. But listen to what he says. Read the subtitles. Brief message here.
Esprimo il mio profondo dolore per l'attacco dell'esercito israeliano contro la parrocchia cattolica della Sacra Famiglia in Gaza City.
He's calling out the Israeli attack on the Catholic Church in Gaza.
Come sapete, giovedì scorso ha causato la morte di 3 cristiani e il grave ferimento di altri. Prego per le vittime, Saad Issa Costandi Salam, Fomia Issa Latif Ayad, Najwa Ibrahim Latif Abu Daud. E sono particolarmente vicino ai loro familiari e a tutti i parrocchiani. Tale atto, purtroppo, si aggiunge ai continui attacchi militari contro la popolazione civile e i luoghi di culto a Gaza. Chiedo nuovamente che si fermi subito la barbarie della guerra.
So an end to the barbarity, but he didn't say Israel needs to stop bombing them. I mean,
no,
it's such a disappointment. Let me go to Ruckus and then Basil. Ruckus, your comments on this. This is the preeminent religious leader in the world on the Christianity side, but sort of halfway, but doesn't quite call out Israel at the end. It's almost like he's saying both sides need to stop fighting. What do you think?
Yeah, this is, again, the biggest issue why we're having so much trouble with this one particular thing, because of the religious thing. So it goes against everything that religion stands for, in particular Christianity. If you are actually a Christian, by definition, you are supposed to follow in the footsteps of Christ, try to be like him. And then, of course, there's the salvation plan through accepting him as your personal savior, of course, the foundation of that religion. But ultimately, to be Christ-like was what it's supposed to mean to be a Christian. So hatred of your fellow man, even if they happen to be of a different belief system than you, a different skin color, a different gender, maybe they come from Mars, who knows? But we should not be hating them. We were talking about hating Hitler a second ago. If you're a Christian, you have to deal with the fact that Jesus Christ probably would not hate Hitler, because he taught us to hate, don't hate your enemy, love your enemy. So the biggest void happening around the planet is the fact that the Christians, or any religious group, because they're supposed to set the moral foundation for society, right? Not the government. That's where people go wrong. So it's these organizations, and the Pope should be the one who's out every day condoning every single death, every single attack. He should be talking about what Basil was just discussing, the 1,000 plus, or where we're at now with the numbers of people just going for food, getting shot and killed. Where's the Pope coming out and saying something about that? Where are all of the religious leaders saying anything about this? Huge amount of silence coming from particularly the Christians who are not the Protestants in particular are not only not saying anything about it, not condoning it, they're getting right behind it and saying, yes, this is what we want, because they're doing the Schofield thing and the dispensationalism and the end times propaganda garbage. So they think that this is a good thing. They're like, oh yeah, this is so that. They're well-meaning people because they can recognize this is horrible, this is terrible, but they're like, but secretly we want this to happen because that means Jesus is going to come and finally it's all going to be over. It's all going to get better. I'm like, no, it's not, unfortunately. But until it gets better, maybe you should do the right thing. And maybe this is why so many people are not doing the right thing and how this is being allowed to go for so long, unfortunately. So, yes, again, calling out all the Christians. There are, of course, Hesher, you said you have to search far and wide to find all the real news and all the good stuff. You have to search even harder, even further, and even wider to find the Christians who are actually standing up against this. But they do exist. They are out there. You just really got to search for them.
Basil, go ahead.
Well, supposedly the use of the word barbarity by the Pope, is strong language in diplomatic circles. The Pope apparently also spoke to Netanyahu after the attack on the Catholic Church, which was being visited at the time by Cardinal Pizzarello, one of the other candidates for the papacy recently. So it was a particularly high-level delegation in the church at the time, and the cardinal could have been killed. It turned out that the church caretaker and 2 other people were killed. But as to what Ruckus is saying, yes, there are lots of Christian Zionists, particularly in America, deluded into thinking that modern day Israel is the Israel of the Bible, unaware of the fact that the whole point of Christ's message is one of redemption for Gentiles, and that subsequent to his resurrection, thy people Israel refers to Christ's followers, not to the people that rejected him. And if you're not aware of that, then you don't understand Christianity 101. But people's minds have been bent out of shape by the Schofield Bible, etc. What's particularly disappointing is the silence from non-Christian Zionists, or rather, let's say, they're still Zionists often because they believe in Israel's right to exist, which is the definition of a Zionist, but they're not fanatical and they're not millenarists. I'm talking about the Church of England and the Episcopalian bishops in America, and Methodists and Baptists and people like that. Really, anybody outside the sort of lunatic fringe that Christian Zionism inhabits. The mainstream Protestant churches are totally silent. You've got Pastor Munter Isaac, tearing his hair out, saying, when is this going to stop? And that abysmal human being, Justin Welby, who was dressing up as the Archbishop of Canterbury for a few years. Thankfully, he's now gone in a separate scandal where he was protecting paedophile priests. But he refused initially to meet Munter Isaac. I mean, this is off the charts, but he was quite happy to stand alongside the so-called chief rabbi, Jacob Mervitz, and denounced Jeremy Corbyn as an anti-Semite in the run-up to the 2019 general election in the UK. Mervitz, who's very happy to say that the IDF are his champions and he's got relatives fighting in the IDF and they're heroes and everything. So, the Christian churches in the West and other religious leaders, the Dalai Lama is some sort of idiot Zionist as well. I've seen a few statements and memes about him. They are also abysmally quiet. I mean, look, frankly, all world leaders are, the Gulf state, Arab potentates, Sisi in Egypt. He doesn't want the Americans to turn the money off. Erdogan is basically all mouth and trousers. I mean, there are some promising developments, like the European Council and the European Commission are now being sued by a group of lawyers for not doing enough to stop the genocide. This story on screen now highlights the fact that Israel is now rejecting visas from American Christian groups. They don't want Christians visiting Israel. When they do go, they're very often spat on in the parts of the Holy City. And Huckabee did actually also visit the village in the West Bank that was attacked and monastery burnt to the ground and all the rest of it. I mean,
Just briefly, Wasim put that comment below. I just wanted to mention there, don't forget about the Christians in the town of Tebay in the West Bank who had lost their 2,000-year-old Byzantine church and cemetery destroyed by fanatical, crazed, murderous settlers here. And here's Huckabee. He's actually got off his backside and gone and visited that village. And so I never thought I'd see the day that Mike Huckabee acknowledged that they're Palestinian Christians and actually rebukes Israel. I can't believe this is actually happening, honestly. This is like some kind of a big surprise for me. I didn't think he was capable of it, guys. I mean, Hesher, what do you think about Huckabee actually criticizing Israel? I mean, what's going on here?
I have to agree with a couple commenters here. Pittsburgh Dude 87 says, it's bad when the Zionists lose Huckabee. That's perfect. And Bear in the Discord said, I did not have Huckabee criticizing Israel on my bingo card.
No.
This just in, guys. Apparently, Huckabee's account has been hacked. It was the same people who hacked Elmo just this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, for all this is sort of welcome, it's largely performative. Nothing is going to happen. This is the big problem. There aren't going to be any sanctions. He's not going to insist that Israel rebuilds the church brick by brick or anything like that. It's like we've had a statement from Hamish Faulkner, the UK Foreign Office Minister for State, saying that he's deeply concerned about Israel now planning to build more settlements in the E1 area of the West Bank. It means nothing. These sort of words go in one ear and out the other of the Israeli government. They don't alter anything at all. We did have the meeting last week of the extended Hague group in Bogota, where the Colombian president in particular made some very strong remarks about how a global elite were planning on bombing us all if we don't do what they tell us. Gustavo Perez, and of course Albanese said at that summit that the whole world now needs to introduce sanctions against Israel. China with observer status. Otherwise it's a relatively small, not particularly powerful group of countries. It's a very welcome initiative. It's the most important one on the world stage from a diplomatic perspective at the moment, and it's to be applauded. But of course, United States wants to sanction anybody who gets involved in anything like that, and just as it sanctioned Albanese. I want to mention too quickly before we move on, our friend of the show, Dr. Frank Romano, is sailing with the Handler, the next ship looking to break the siege of Gaza. He's setting off from port, I think, today, and will be in Palestinian territorial waters within a few days. So I'm in touch with him still, and I'll bring you all the latest on that.
Yeah, Frank Romano on the next flotilla, Gaza. And wasn't there an American Palestinian who was killed by settlers in the West Bank this past week? And
yes,
very little, no condemnation from Marco Rubio. He sort of passed the buck when the press pushed him on this. Huckabee's probably embarrassed by this, obviously. I mean, you can't, it's not one or two things with Israel. They're doing like 20 or 50 different things at the same time. And it's just,
well, they're doing all the things they've always wanted to do. Basically the 50, 60 years of bribery, blackmail and lobbying. Now it's all time for it to pay off. They know that the United States, the United Kingdom and the European Union are firmly in their pocket. There's an absolutely disgraceful statement by Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, last week. I don't know if you saw it, saying there was no equivalence between Russia's invasion of Ukraine and what's happening in Gaza, that Israel's existence was directly threatened by Hamas. I mean, basically, he was justifying the entire genocide, while, of course, continuing to condemn Russia. He's the guy that said Israel is doing Europe's dirty work during the war with Iran. I mean, how this guy is suddenly, being propelled into the German leadership. I've absolutely no idea. It's just, words fail us at this point.
Yeah. Mertz is, I don't know what this guy's smoking, honestly. He's on a real power trip. He's by the way, he's 6'6", 6'7",
Right.
6'6", very tall, towers over Trump. Trump's 6'3". So you can imagine Macron comes up to his waist.
Just while you mentioned Trump, I don't know if we want to go back to the Middle East, but I've seen reports that he's now extremely ill.
Trump with his swollen ankles and the hand.
Yes, there's edema. Basically, his circulation is disintegrating, and blood is pooling in his lower legs and feet, and he may not be all that long for this world. I saw a close-up picture as well, and he looks terrible.
Carolyn Levitt said, the reason his hands look manky is because he's shaking so many people's hands every week that it's causing atrophy in his hands. I mean, these people are just, she's worse than Karine Jean-Pierre at this point, covering for Trump. Now, the swollen ankles, gout, well, he doesn't drink. Edema, possibly, but, so I know Trump has been...
It's usually a sign of heart disease.
He's on heavy medication. Do you know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jab injury, perhaps, or was he smart enough to not take the product he was telling everyone to take?
Well, he admittedly has been on statins for almost 30 years.
That's a recipe.
Or 25 years or something. So long-term use of any pharmaceutical might have some side effects. He doesn't drink, we're told. But maybe that's a crock. I don't know.
He has a terrible diet, McDonald's and Diet Cokes, apparently.
Trump should drink at this point. It would chill him out. I mean, he's like on the wagon. He's this high strung. I'd go ahead and have a drink, Donald. I mean, I'd recommend that as if I was his doctor. I'd say go out and get pissed a couple nights a week. You can't be any worse than what you're like now.
Is he getting the Joe treatment? Or the media is starting to shift and talk about him and treat him the way that they used to with Biden. I just saw a clip just today or yesterday or a headline little bit, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Allegedly, Trump claims that his uncle some one of his family members, I think it was his uncle, taught the Unabomber while he was in college. Some weird stuff and then they said without providing. It seemed like one of those old stories where like Joe would just randomly say, "Oh, my great grandfather in the war jumped from a plane and saved Geronimo," or whatever. These stories that he would say all over the place. Trump is now doing it allegedly. I'm like, and now he's got a weird health condition that nobody knows what's up, and it's iffy and depends on which. I'm like, are they just setting the stage to just, he's just another old white guy, and we got to get rid of these old white guys?
He's very heavy. He's overweight, I would say. He's very tired, and he slurs his speech kind of when he does the speeches. He's always fading at the end of the sentence. It's become a kind of affectation a lot of comedians have picked up on in their Trump impressions and stuff like that. Oh, here we go. Amanda says he should have a Guinness a day.
Yeah,
that'll sort him out. And
not to wash down a statin too. If I may interject.
And a joint, says Amanda.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that.
Yeah,
Palestinian peace stuff, giving out medical advice. Yep. Not us giving it out, but our listeners in the comments.
There's a book I want to mention real quickly here, Patrick. It's called Statin Drugs Side Effects. Oof. And let's see who's the author. I may know who the author is, but it's basically a book about the legacy of statin drug use, especially considering the high doses that they give out today. And they say there's a huge swath of side effects, including chronic aches, pains, numbness, weakness, confusion, fatigue, shortness of breath, heart failure, and it's happening in hordes of unsuspecting victims. So
is this a book or an article?
No, it's a book. You can get it at good booksellers. It's called Statin Drugs Side Effects. It's by Dr. Dwayne Graveline, I believe. And there's a list of all, the brand names of all these. Yeah, right. So he also says that in some people it has caused strains of amnesia, memory dysfunction. Some people hostility, aggression, and profound depression. And the guy that wrote this is a former astronaut and medical research scientist, a flight surgeon, and a family doctor. So he's not just some dummy, trying to catch up with what these drugs do to people. He's got a decent book out there that, this. We're talking about Trump here and potentials, kind of wargaming, but I wanted to just pause and throw that book out there because a lot of us have parents who've been on these drugs for long amounts of times. And this is one of those things where you should take pause and maybe educate yourself if you're not aware of some of these side effects.
I'll bring that book up on screen, Hesher, just so people can see it. I think I found the one which you are referring to here.
From a political perspective, we're only just coming up for 18 months into the Trump second term. I think people need to start thinking about President Vance as a very realistic possibility. A year from now, these kind of conditions don't improve when you're in your 80s, and President Vance becomes imminent then, doesn't it?
So Trump has been on this drug he has said this publicly. He's been taking statins for 25 years for cholesterol. I mean, you would have a cholesterol or, some issues if you're eating high carb, and drinking Coke all day, right? And Wasim said alcohol is healthier than Coke. It could be true. I see the J.D. Vance. I saw Hesher's putting that up on. Looks.
There's your future president right there.
There it is. Yeah. Bo Selecta, J.D. Vance, 42 years old. Be the youngest president in history if he took over now. Isn't that scary thought?
He's supposed to be close to Tucker Carlson, isn't he, Vance?
So they say. I mean, it's politics.
He's close to Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed about Trump is he seems to be shadowed wherever he goes these days by Howard Lutnick, the so-called Commerce Secretary.
It's a handler. That's his handler.
Well, please explain, Patrick.
That's his handler. That was the head of the Trump transition team, Howard Lutnick. Who picked the cabinet? Howard Lutnick, and his deputy was Jared Kushner. So
yeah,
what? So Israel doesn't run this White House? What?
Yeah.
What? So everywhere Trump goes, his handler's there. Do you notice? He
I did
shadows
notice.
him.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a commerce secretary that like super glue to a president?
No,
I've never seen
the Commerce Secretary is a long way down the food chain. You might expect to see the Secretary of State or the VP. You wouldn't expect to see the Commerce.
Well, look at what Trump's been doing. All this stuff with the tariffs, right? A lot of economic stuff coming from the Trump administration right out of the gate, and this pro-Bitcoin stuff and a mad dash to get us all onto digital stable coins now. The bills just passed. He just did a great big signing ceremony yesterday. Trump did over the Genius Act, which is about stable coins, and they got two other bills moving forward because they went through the House, if I'm correct, that are also related to digital Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, changing of money, allowing the old guard into the new guard, all of the things that the cryptocurrency punks back in the day were afraid of happening are happening right now. They're tokenizing stocks and putting it on the blockchain. They're probably going to be doing digital IDs and the full-blown technocracy, universal basic income, open AI, Sam Altman, all of the tech bros. But yeah, and then Howard Lutnick has got his claws all in that too. So it's very strange, though. Yet we've never seen anybody at that level of lower on the rung being the handler. It's usually last time for Joe, it was Blinken. Every time you saw Joe Biden, there's Anthony Blinken hovering somewhere in the background, right?
Blinking in the background. U.S. Navy vet says Trump has the worst approval rating in the first 7 months in history of a U.S. president. Go ahead and fact check that. It could be true. It's a pretty. He's really down at the moment. Yeah, I think the economy is, despite all if you read Breitbart and you listen to Fox, it's the greatest economy in the history of the country. And Biden said the same thing, by the way. In the history of the world. The history of the universe. Biden said the same thing. So, whatever that's worth, any politician is going to say it's the greatest ever economy, but it doesn't look like it on paper. You know, GDP increase around, I don't know, 0 this year. It's going to be sort of 0.5 or something like that. It's like
Tuna sandwich is now $30.
yes,
Wow.
that's right. If you're
You
lucky,
kidding?
that's without the crisps and the drink.
Yeah, in New York and some places, Basil, it has like just gone crazy. No sandwich for you, right? We got sandwich Nazis now.
Yeah, they're going to start doing like in Britain. They're really, really cruel. They charge for mustard packs and things like that. You know,
We only did that during COVID here, guys.
You-
Not
Sorry.
everywhere.
I feel like I should do
everywhere.
some kind of a TV special for British chefs because for some reason I don't know, Basil, if you've noticed this, but guys, they put their tomato and lettuce on the bottom bun. That is just so
What?
annoying.
That's
and
blasphemy.
so wrong, and they all do it. Why do they do this, Basil? Why do British chefs?
I
do
don't know.
that?
I can't say I'd noticed.
Is this
you
is this
might
some
be
sort
right,
of slight against Americans? Like we're gonna load the bottom of the bun, and it's the thinnest bun. It gets soggy quickly, and the whole thing falls apart. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
No, I appreciate that. Wouldn't make any sense. It's not something I've observed. I do like the
It's
odd
a fine
hamburger,
point, but
so I'll keep an eye out next time.
It's very important, actually. If you think
Yeah, no,
about
I
it.
agree that the everything should go on top of the patty. All the
Yes.
extra, the salad goes on top of the patty.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure that's what it is in the pictures outside Burger King.
I haven't been
sure
into
it's-
Burger King
sure-
to check, but I'm wondering if that's how they do it. I don't know, but it's just like a British thing. I'm like, what? Anyway, sorry to digress, guys.
Can I go back to the Pope's comments just for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was this about the barbarism of war? I'm having a hard time. Like, if I look at footage of fighting in Ukraine, like between Ukraine and Russia, I see war. I see a very brutal war. I see a war that I don't think should exist in 2025. I see a war that looks like something out of a World War II trench warfare movie, but with drones. So that's a war, I guess. If it's a proxy war, and it was set up with a whole buttload of propaganda and lies and corruption. But when I look at the footage in Gaza, I don't see anyone fighting back. I'm having a really hard time finding these Hamas cells that are well armed and protecting citizens or maybe okay. Well, I'll go with the mainstream Schofield thing. I don't even see them using the civilians as shields or anything like that. I struggle to find any footage of modern warfare fighting back against the IDF. I don't see it. I mean, we see some, missiles and drones and stuff coming from certain places, but they're low tech unless they're coming from Yemen or Iran or something like that. But as far as what's happening in Palestine, where are the rebels? Where are the terrorists? Where are these people with Kalashnikovs that are fighting back in some sort of meaningful way against the onslaught of the IDF? Bringing their British and American arms and intelligence and special forces and ISR assets circling above, so how can he call this a war? This isn't a war. He used the wrong word. He should have used genocide. And it's like, and what, you don't speak up until like a media worthy event, for something that's attached to Christianity. Like, what about all the other Christian churches that were destroyed there and in other Middle Eastern countries in similar situations? We had so many. We had journalists, we've had doctors, we've had churches, we've had priests, we've had children, we've had women, raped, slaughtered, shot their testicles off, imprisoned in I don't even want to get into what goes on in those prisons. You can find that in these deep, dark holes we're talking about, too, for clips that we don't want to put on air or look at because they'll make us just cry and want to hang up the call. So where's the war? Where's the barbary of war? I see it in Ukraine. I see the barbary of ethnic cleansing, of genocide, of starvation. That's what I see going on in Palestine right now. Why is it the Pope doesn't see that?
Well, he does
Yeah,
see
it's-
it, but
it's not a
he's
war.
afraid to say it. It's as simple as that. He's afraid to say that. And this is the problem globally. You know, with a very few exceptions, people are reluctant, for whatever reason or another, to call out the sheer satanic evil of what's happening and to use that kind of language.
Guys, can you fact check this comment? Because this is potentially, I did not know this. Epstein's New York townhouse and Howard Lutnick's adjoining townhouse share an interior wall. What?
Yeah, that's right. That's that.
Really?
I've
Heard
heard
that.
that. Yeah, I've heard that.
Excuse me?
I know.
A connecting door, maybe? I don't
Yeah.
like the sound of this at all.
Tunnel.
Yeah.
Hesher, you can't say that word. That word is bad.
What can't we say?
Tunnel.
Tunnels.
Oops, I
Tunnels. That's yeah, you're really treading on thin ice there, mate. That's
Can't help it. I feel a little feisty today, Pat. This is just too much.
Yeah, that's
said it. To your point, Hesher, obviously,
antiseptic. That's antiseptic.
from its beginning, this has never been described as a war. This is, although they didn't say this, they could come out at any moment and then the irony would be like in your face. But why haven't they come out and called it what it technically is? It's a special military operation. Oh, where did we hear that before recent history? Oh, that's right. That's what,
A defensive special military operation.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
But it's all about the
defending them.
hostages. So to this day, this is why we don't see the footage. We just see a rehashing, repackaging, re-edited again on tours in theaters of the October 6th footage, because that's what this is about. This is all Israel's doing all of this just to get the hostages back, and Gaza, the Hamas won't give them back. So we got to keep killing innocent people, to save innocent people. It makes no damn sense. It's obviously genocide.
It's good enough. It's good enough for an American audience, though, Ruckus. So they
not this
passable.
American, Patrick.
Jacqueline Van der Veen, help out and like this podcast. Exactly. I forgot to mention
great
that.
podcast.
This is a great, and we're going to make it great again. You can help make this podcast great again if you go to YouTube. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, and there's a few of you, I see you on there, and we're bringing some of your comments in here. Like and subscribe to this channel. Why? This channel has been throttled for 15 years, okay? Is on 15,000 followers for a decade and couldn't grow any more than that. So tell me it wasn't being throttled, please. No, the only way we can improve it is to physically like and share and subscribe. Take the link, put it on your X account, and tweet it out. Just say, you guys support this podcast. They're being censored to hell. So this is the only way. We need to bust through the 20,000 mark, and then hopefully I can petition YouTube to kind of take us off all the blacklists. I don't know. I mean, what is it? I think it's just because we got caught in that disinfo wave back in Trump 1.0, and it's just they haven't let go.
Being ahead of the curve, being ahead of the Overton window is what does this. You get put on a visibility filter in 2017 and then attacked further by so-called educational institutions here in the United States, working with NGOs, working with the Atlantic Council and their digital forensic lab, working with the UK's version of this stuff, working with Australia's version of this stuff, working with New Zealand's version of this stuff, and Canada's versions of this stuff. And they all put us on these visibility filters. This all came out in the Twitter files. Patrick's name mentioned specifically in some of those visibility filter data dumps. And this is what we get. And now here we are, 10, 15 years later, and the Overton window has smashed its way to the chaos zone. And now Tucker Carlson, Candace, Joe Rogan, all the top 5 podcasters can riff on things that we've been saying for 15 years over here and have 500,000 people watching them live. We have shy of 400 watching us live right now on YouTube. And thankfully, almost half of them, 40% or so, have hit the like button. So thank you for those of you that have done that. We even had one user transition from X over to YouTube to subscribe. So thank you. We need you to do that to the Rumble channel as well. We need you to do that to the Boiler Room channels, the alternate current radio channels, the new website that Basil is broadcasting on. Daily Ruckus. All the shows you'll find at Alternate Current Radio, and all the articles you'll find at 21stCenturyWire.com. All of those things have been shadow banned on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. Every single big platform that brings big numbers. We're stuck in this algorithm ghetto, as our friend Havore Morik has called it, and we're sick of it. This is bullcrap. Everybody is talking about this right now, and we're still stuck under these filters, the thumb, the boot, the Orwellian boot of these algorithmic filters. So, whoever did that, fix it. Fix it. You're being anti-American. You're being anti-human.
If you want to have a fast
Good
growth
speech,
YouTube channel, I have this solution. Basically, I've been watching all the big programs. If I just put a potato in one window and then have the same 7 guests on for rotation all week, every week, and the potato just sits there. We'll even put eyes on it and a mouth. It just sits there, says nothing, and the guest talks away. I mean, they barely even ask questions, these channels. And you look at the views at 500,000 or whatever. So that's the formula YouTube wants, is a host that doesn't say anything and a guest. And yeah, but if you do anything really look at the comments that we're getting from our listeners there. Obviously, these people know what's going on, So we have smart audience, and we're hitting the news and we're hitting the issues differently than a lot of people do. And and we know what we're talking about. But the censors at YouTube don't like it. And they're putting the throttling on there pretty hard. So thank you guys who are helping us, physically helping us to share, to subscribe, to like. It all helps. Every little bit helps. I'm a firm believer in that. So appreciate it. We will break through one way or another, and we are kind of doing well on Rumble. We've been slowly growing a little bit on Rumble and things like that. So, and on X, somewhat more visibility ish. But
real quick, Patrick, to that end, a bonus tip for people who are serious. If you seriously want to do this and you want to make a real difference and actually help us, if you are interacting on social media, it's best to interact on other people's posts and take a link from X, from this live stream. If you hear somebody give a bad take or a good take and you're like, hey, yeah, Patrick was just talking about this, drop the link.
Yes.
To the show inside the other person's post, and that starts creating the real engagement. People start getting curious. People who've never seen or heard of Patrick before might click on his name and see it and be like, oh, I like what this guy is saying. So don't just do it on your own social media. Go ahead and troll the heck out of people. Everyone else does it to you. We can do it back to them too.
That's right. Particularly big influencers with millions of followers like Piers Morgan. You take the link to this and you share it as a comment on Piers's thread, and of course the earlier you get in the better, because once there's a few thousand comments on those big accounts, you disappear without trace. But if you can get in,
sorry Baz, I didn't mean to interrupt. Like if Cat Turd were to repost that short clip of the Pope that we just showed, it's going to blow up. Everybody's going to be commenting. You get in there and you say, go to minute 25, 32 on this. Listen to these guys talk about it. Cat Turd.
I'm going to get
within the first few minutes, ideally.
I'm going to get some special knee pads made for Cat Turd. I'll leave it there. I can't stand that account. He was mildly interesting the first few months of the vaccine debacle, but that's he even followed me on Twitter previously before I got banned. But anyway, can't find. So Fiction Checker says can't find you on Rumble. Just put Sunday Wire in the search bar on Rumble. You'll probably find us. And go to the 21stcenturywire.com. We always embed the Rumble video on our show post every week, so you can click on it via our website on the Sunday Wire show page.
And the channel name is at 21 Wire on Rumble. If you want to go,
I'm probably going to change it to 21st Century Wire after reading this. So that's maybe that's why. Yeah, we got this. So anyway, Cat millionaire. He is a millionaire. He's made so much money. Elon boosted him, and he's just made tons of money on X. Right. People are clocking like 20 G's a month, just putting out rubbish.
And then Elon blocked him after his second fight with Trump.
Did he? Block Cat Turd?
Yeah.
Wow.
Weird, huh?
Elon, if you're listening, give us a boost.
Yes, well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Oh
We need
my God.
something to go viral, you know.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I can't, I don't know. I don't have the, I don't know. But Elon's politics are completely fluid, by the way. He could transition into being a liberal if he thinks it'll sort of somehow give him more leverage. Somehow he'll go back to the left. I don't know. I'm just waiting for it. But here we go. I never liked Rogan's stupid headset. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
Why does it never look like it's centered? There's something about his headphones that always looks like it's sort of like a rapper's hat or something like that. Just
it's kind of off. I think because he has one ear off like a DJ. Maybe
drives me nuts. I don't know, something of I don't know. I'm
maybe it's his head. He does the MMA. He's been whacked too many times. Maybe it's slightly out of kilter. Citizen Kane 108. I've been following Patrick since 2008. Wow. Yeah, since I was.
That's the old school version of us, man. Jeez.
Yeah, that's when I was blogging on Global Research, Infowars.com. I was publishing articles on those websites. Yeah, we didn't launch 21st Century Wire till late 2009 at the Copenhagen Climate Summit when I went to look at that whole train wreck and report on the collapse of the Copenhagen Climate Summit, COP21. That was our first.
I remember
story.
that. And then we all met each other in what, 2010, 11, something like that.
Yeah, no, for me, I met you guys in probably 13, actually.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's right, because you came into that old show we were on like after it was there for a year or so, and our main news person was copying your work, and we caught him copying your work. I think that's how we met.
Yeah. I was in Lebanon at the time.
Right.
I was working in Lebanon, and let me take a look at here. Anything else going on? I couldn't find just put Sunday Wire in the search bar. Again, I couldn't find 21st Century Wire on Rumble. It's at 21 Wire, but I'll take the cue and I'll see if I can change the name on the account. Oh, Hesher's got the there's Trump. He's touching the wall. So someone asked, when is the Pope going to go to Jerusalem and touch the wall, or roll up the paper and put it through the hole there? Here's another thing to debunk, you guys. Basil, I don't know if you heard this or not, but the Wailing Wall is not part of this temple. It's a wall of a Roman garrison.
Yeah, but it's a Roman fort. That's right.
So that's a complete lie.
The whole thing's a total farce.
The whole thing's a farce.
Finish. Yeah.
How do they get away with this?
Good question.
It's all fake.
Yep.
I wanted to get you and Basil's opinion on something we talked about on Boiler Room on Friday night. I was bringing up the amendment motion that was placed before the House of Representatives on Wednesday or Thursday or at some point this week, and it was to remove the $500 million that were going to be given to Israel. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was the one that authored the amendment to remove it. And 422 members of Congress voted for it, to not against her amendment, and only her and 5 other people, I think it was like 4 Democrats and 2 Republicans or vice versa, voted to not give them that $500 million. And my big question about this was, what does that say about representative government? Is that really the ratio of constituents in the United States that would not want to give an extra $500 million to a country we're already giving $3.6 billion a year to? And then on top of that, all this extra special donations, war donations. So is really like, is the percentage that small of Americans? Because I don't believe it. I mean, the percentage of people in our chat here, certainly, I know a lot of you aren't Americans, but certainly those of you that are would be hoping that your representative would vote with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this. So what does that say about, the capturing of our government, the IPAC lobby, just what we're up against here? Because, some people would say, well, you voted these people in, but the two choices you're given are both going to make that same vote on this critical issue. So how did we vote this in if, what are uniparty? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Six. Yeah, 2 Republicans voted against, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then 4 Democrats, including one of them was Ilhan Omar. So, I mean, yeah, when you're on the same side.
It's an interesting alliance, isn't it? Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ilhan Omar, who would arguably be the furthest left member of Congress and the furthest right. Although, I mean, what this speaks to is the redundancy of those labels. Simple as that. And while people have still got this sort of left-right spectrum in their head, with the whole of the center ground and a long way out to the left and a long way out to the right entirely captured by Zionism, then it's difficult to see how any progress can be made. AOC notably did not vote in favor of the amendment because she said that this would do nothing to reduce Israel's offensive capability and would merely serve to weaken the Iron Dome, which prompted a reply from Caitlin Johnston, the Australian journalist, saying basically that's like saying, I didn't buy the mass shooter's bullets and guns. I only bought him the bulletproof vest,
It's such a weak cope on AOC's part. I mean, she's bought and paid for, isn't she?
Yes.
Here, someone's asked Basil, why is there still a royal family in the UK? Obviously, people aren't aware that you are yourself 14th in line for the throne at the moment. That's something that you don't like to talk about, obviously, but
well, I will admit that one of the reasons why I'm not particularly keen on the royal family is because I'm not a member of it. Simple as that, really. I think I might feel very different about the monarchy if I was the king. But I've noticed some sort of more conservative or right of centre commentators on X in particular starting to rumble with unhappiness about the monarchy, in particular the person of King Charles, who apparently is very rude to his staff. He's had all sorts of run-ins with gardeners on his Highgrove estate in Gloucestershire, demanding that favourite plants be moved, complaining at the gardener's work, remonstrating with staff. On one occasion, he said to turn around to an aide and said, "Do not put that man in front of me again." So he's always been known to have this terribly haughty attitude. So a lot of people,
how could he do that? He knows the plants are listening, and he's going to traumatize the plants by abusing the staff. I mean, he knows. He talks to the plants, right? Plays them,
yes,
Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff, doesn't he?
Yes, he's long since been a plant talker. He's possibly not that long for the top job, for the throne. Like Trump, he's not getting any younger. He has cancer, of course. His treatment is believed to be successful, but you never know with that. A lot of people have been speculating as to whether or not he had the real jabs. A lot of people seem to think that if you were within the inner circle of elite power, and most conspiracy theorists place Prince Charles as being certainly in that circle, if not the center of it, then you were let in on the secret that the whole thing was a psyop.
Saline solution. Yeah.
And you got the saline solution instead of the active ingredient. I don't know.
Saline, not squalene.
Yeah. They just acquitted a nurse who was kind of running cover for people and doing saline injections. She got caught and charged, and luckily, acquitted. So that was really cool. I'm sure it ruined her life to be charged for those years, but I'm glad they didn't throw her in the clink.
Yeah, so, Charles, is his cancer related to having had the jabs? Who knows? The turbo cancers. I've learned of another person, a friend of a friend, who has a particularly aggressive form of brain cancer and had an operation a couple of days ago, which was successful, I'm glad to say, but it will only give him another 6 months to live. These turbo cancers are popping up all over the place, particularly virulent forms of cancers that doctors haven't seen before, that spread to other parts of the body with extreme speed and metastasize very quickly. But Charles, whether he's got that or some other form of cancer, he won't be around forever. And doubtless the royal family have got their eye on the next generation taking over, and we will have King William V, and the Prince of Wales will be the new Prince George, and Ian William being Diana's son, even if he's not Charles's, of course, because some people say that William's father is either the King of Spain, former King of Spain, Juan Carlos, or possibly somebody else altogether. But his family, William and Kate and children, are an altogether much more attractive group of human beings than the sort of, Lizzie Liz, Lizard Liz, and the old Duke of Edinburgh, and now, of course, Camilla and Charles. The sort of, these relics will be out of the way before long, and they can install a shiny new royal family, and that's how it works, in answer to the question. And also, I mean, of course, we've never had a referendum on the monarchy. There's no question of that. I mean, you've got to be joking. All members of Parliament are required to sign an oath of allegiance to the King on entering Parliament, which is one of the reasons why the Irish Republican MPs don't take their seats in the House of Commons. They will not swear an oath of allegiance. That's Northern Ireland Republican MPs representing Sinn Féin will not swear an oath of allegiance to the King. So therefore, they don't take their seats.
And just there are some comments that we absolutely disavow in the YouTube and Rumble streams. Obviously, I'm sharing those with my colleagues on the back chat so that you guys know to look out for these rogue accounts. So I've shared one of them in the back chat, and I just want to just keep an eye out for the. We're obviously not going to share
Too hot
these comments.
for TV.
They're there, but we're not going to highlight them. We're not going to do it. That's right. Anyway, speaking of Roman walls. Yes, here we go. Kurt Lazarus, once again, since the Roman Empire never really ended, controversial take, it makes sense that they make them take fealty at the Roman wall. That's an interesting take, guys. That's an interesting take. And let me just throw this in this is the last thing I'll throw in. We're going deep we're doing a deep one here. So after the Roman Empire left, or after Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, what happened to Jerusalem then? What happened when the Romans withdrew? So it's interesting, isn't it? Those who believe that Israel is an American and British proxy, and this person's here saying, I think there's a lot to be said for the Roman Empire never really ended. It changed shape. But the concept of what it represented, Pax Romana or Pax Americana or whatever, is still very much alive and well today. European-centric empire. Any thoughts? This will be our last deep thought before we break up.
Well, some people say, that the Club of Rome and some of these other sort of shadowy Masonic organizations are the power center of the Roman Empire, perpetuated down the centuries. We had the Holy Roman Empire, of course, in the Middle Ages, which became the stronghold of the Habsburg family before they all married their cousins so often that they became imbeciles. So that was the end of that sort of thing. I don't really hold with the Roman Empire. It never went away. Yes, there are European elites that still have considerable influence, but I think what we're seeing on the world stage today, which is where we came in this conversation, is that a lot of the organizations, institutions, and structures that we thought underpinned the world for good or for bad are completely irrelevant. There is no international law anymore. Karim Khan, a hugely compromised figure at the best of times, but he said that he had been threatened by Israel if he continued to pursue the arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. The Israeli ambassador to Ireland said that there will be a price to pay. That Ireland will regret bringing in sanctions reported as being on goods from Israel, but in fact on goods from the occupied territories, which are illegally occupied. And that was one of the things that the Hague group, the extended Hague group, were talking about in Colombia last week, is that, it was reaffirmed by the ICJ only last year that, of course, the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza strips are illegal, and therefore Ireland is only complying with international law by seeking to ban imports from the occupied territories. But that produces a threat from the Israelis. How dare you seek to comply with international law? We will punish you. What, terrorist explosions in Dublin, false framed as being by Muslims? How is Israel going to punish Ireland, and for that matter, any other country that decides to adhere to international law and impose sanctions? So, people talk about the Club of Rome and the Rhodes Group and the Illuminati groups as being sort of all powerful behind the scenes, but they're completely invisible at the moment. It's very obvious that the Zionist elite are the ones calling the shots and remaking the world in their image. And everybody else is standing idly by and letting them do it.
What do you think about this? The EU has a Charlemagne Award. True. I think von der Leyen won it. The EU, it seems, is modeled on the Holy Roman Empire. True?
Yes, true. Yeah.
Wow, I think we've actually made some productive analysis here in the tail end of the program. That's some good food for thought.
When in Rome, isn't that the expression?
Yeah, when in Rome, exactly.
I was very encouraged. I mentioned it, if I'll find the story, by this group of lawyers who are suing the European Council, I believe it is, and the European Commission, of which the dreadful von der Leyen creature is the head, for their failure to do anything to stop the genocide. I mean, it's worth remembering that von der Leyen, projected the so-called Israeli flag. Some people call it the Star of Remphan, the blue six-pointed star. That was projected all over the Brussels headquarters of the European Commission after October the 7th, and she has shown endless fealty to Netanyahu. I mean, almost visibly bowing in front of him.
Slavish.
Slavish, exactly. Lawyers from France and Belgium are scheduled to file a non-action lawsuit with the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg on Thursday, which they did, against the European Commission and the European Council for their failure to act on the crimes committed by Israel in Gaza. The lawsuit will be filed against the EU Commission and European Council based on Article 265 of the Treaty of the European Union, which aims to punish any European institution for inaction. The lawsuit is based on the failure of the Commission and the Council to suspend the association agreement with Israel for 21 months, starting in October 2023. They're parts of the Geordie Human Rights Organization, and are also demanding action to force the Commission and the European Council to sever all commercial and political ties with Israel, which is, of course, what should be happening. I mean, again, just imagine for a moment that the population of, name a city of 2 million people in the United States, Pittsburgh, we're living on the rubble of their homes in tents, and regularly shot at I mean, it's just
Well, Moscow asked me 2 days ago, why aren't the European Union, why aren't they sanctioning Israel? And I you know what I said. Obviously, I'm talking about the lobby and stuff like that. But is that the only reason?
Well, effectively, yes. I mean, Israel has spent decades bribing, blackmailing, and browbeating politicians, in the United States. They're very, very well organized about it, and in Europe to go along with whatever they say. It's as simple as that, using the, claims of anti-Semitism for anybody who doesn't agree with them, and creating a force field around their actions of impunity, and making people afraid as well. I mean, they're very open about the fact that they want their enemies, everybody for that matter, to fear them, to fear the fact that they will do what they threaten to do. They will destroy you. They will destroy your livelihood, or they'll shoot you, or whatever.
Get so you thrown out of your own political party.
That's right. So, threatening the judges, that's pure gangsterism. And gangsters played a big part in the formation of the State of Israel. People forget that.
Well, they got the Americans.
They never knew it in the first place because they don't learn it.
America's sanctioning the International Criminal Court. The chief prosecutor is getting sanctioned by. So they've got America.
It's gangsterism. That's the only word to describe it.
That's the problem. Yeah, so it's not just Israel they're afraid of; it's the United States as well. Yeah, that's right. It's both. It's both. You can't. But it's funny how this conversation is always separate the two. It's like, oh, it's just Israel. No, it's.
Well, that's Israel. That's why Israel has always taken so much trouble to weld itself to the United States, because it knows that if it's welded to the United States, then it's also got Europe under its boot.
Yeah, true. Wow, they've really done a number, haven't they?
Oh. They've done a number.
Guys, final thoughts. I'll go around Ruckus. We're going to wrap it up, but again, thank you for joining us. Your final thoughts on anything of note or anything that you're up to?
Yeah, I don't know. This whole this crap over death and destruction and arguing whether or not it's a war or whatever. I mean, this is a non-starter of a conversation. We shouldn't be having this conversation. And again, as I was discussing earlier, the morally founded people of this world should be speaking the loudest. They should be deafening right now. My ears should be ringing, like, please stop. I can't take it anymore. Yep. But again, absolute silence, and it's absolutely disgusting. As far as the Roman thing goes, it is interesting that from day one, well, since before day one, Trump has been pushing this whole concept of this great new golden era, and he's got a lot of obsession with the Roman Empire throughout his life. And from what I understand, all of the way he decorates his apartments and his homes and his things, very, very Romanesque, right? So there might be something there. I hope not, but all roads lead back to Rome, et cetera, et cetera. I would like to share a brief quote from the French philosopher Albert Camus, I believe is how you correctly pronounce his name. But he did say that the peace is the only battle worth waging. Excuse me. I said raging because the current battle is raging, but yes, peace. That's the only one that we should be fighting for. If you're going to fight for anything, fight for peace. Okay. And thank you so much for having me, Patrick. You guys, of course, will find me doing stuff with Hesher at the alternatecurrentradio.com for Boiler Room on Thursday nights. And whenever I come out with new content, you'll find it there. It might be a daily ruckus. It might be a roundabout ruckus, which is usually me making appearances on Weaponized News as a guest co-host with Sam Chaney. It's a fantastic program. If you want like daily hard-hitting news, want to know what's going on in the world and the news, the stuff that they'll probably be talking about on Patrick's programs, just hit up Weaponized News during the week, Monday through Friday. You'll also see me either on Monday or Wednesday, depends. Okay. Thanks for having me, Patrick. May God bless each and every one of you, and I hope we'll see. But may God save this republic, not the Roman Empire, but the United States of America. Because if we fall, so goes the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, they're falling all right. So prophetic words, Ruckus. Thank you very much. We'll bring actually just Ruckus's show graphic here, one of the many. Just a little bit of daily Ruckus activity on the Alternate Current Radio Network. There's a link to ACR. It's on the below the show description if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble as well, alternatecurrentradio.com. The link is there. So do check it out. And we'll hopefully see you there. Thank you very much, Ruckus. Much appreciated. And we'll go back to our other colleague, Bryan McClain, also known as Hesher. Your final thoughts on general events, news, the world, the trouble you're causing during the week?
Well, trying to reverse skull plug the planet back into some sort of sanity over there in the boiler room. Thursday nights, generally speaking, this week we did it on Friday night. Had a great show. It went into extreme overdrive and ended up being 3 hours and 15 minutes long or something like that in the boiler room with Mark Anderson, with Ruckus, with Mystical Pharaoh. Shout out to Mystical Pharaoh, by the way. He went semi-viral on the interwebs. So go to X also and follow our colleague from the boiler room, Mystical Pharaoh. He took a blowtorch to his MAGA hat to make a comment, and it got reposted and reposted. It got over 1 million views. He got questions from journalists at Fox and The Independent asking if they could use his footage. So, we congratulate him on that. He wasn't trying to go viral. He just wanted to, he saw people like, I don't even know if he saw them first, but people were putting their hats in barbecues and stuff like that. And he was like, I got a blowtorch, man. I'm gonna torch this thing. And he explained himself in great detail as to why probably the boiler room's most Trump supporting and hopeful member is now doing that. So it's funny. It went viral for the short attention span, but he got accused of all kind of things on X by the Copers, and he really explained in great detail why he did that. And I think that will resonate with a lot of people that are tossing away their MAGA hats at this point. So boiler room, join us there. alternatecurrentradio.com is the website. That's where you find the archives and all that stuff. Follow us on YouTube, Alternate Current Radio. Follow us on Rumble, Boiler Room. And with regards to this whole Roman concept, I would say most of the nations at this point are just a front. We've already been globalized. We've already experienced a soft boil, technocratic authoritarianism that is meant to tell us that we're only placating your concept of sovereignty at this point, and the globalization has already happened. So what individual countries are doing is, I think, a function of a biblical concept, right? Principalities and power. You'll see that mentioned 6 times in various formats, particularly in the King James version. But these principalities and powers, we've watched them over since 9/11, since 1913, if you prefer. You can pick your inflection point, but they've been consolidating money, resources, infrastructure, food supply, energy, and most importantly, perhaps, narrative. And they're international at this point. So we're in deep doo-doo when it comes to national sovereignty and geopolitical policy. And I think we've shown why today with a good bit of context here. So thanks for having me, Patrick.
No, thanks for coming in. Boiler Room, tune in. Just remind us of the time on Alternate Current Radio, Hesher.
Whenever the heck I'm ready, generally speaking, to be quite honest. But I aim to start between 9 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday nights.
So Thursday nights is the big night. So that's Boiler Room. So again, there's a link to alternatecurrentradio.com. It's on our show descriptions if you're watching on any of the live streams, as well as at 21stcenturywire.com. Great programming all the way around at the Boiler Room. Heady discussions, always topical, always timely. Thank you very much, Hesher, and thank you, Basil Valentine, as well. Just a quick shout out. What any other shows you're doing this week, Basil?
Yeah, please subscribe at youtube.com/unprecedented TV, which is myself and Lembit Opik. Most of the content there at the moment is from Lembit. I will be contributing more this week, including an interview with former MI5 agent David Shaler, who is always a very forthright speaker, and I hope to put at least 2 shows a day up on there. Do please follow us on X as well at unprecedented.tv. That's my new outpost. Just quickly, it does always seem darkest before the dawn, as they say. I think a terrible price. There is a global awakening going on as we speak, to not just the horrors in Gaza, obviously, but as Hesher said, the concentration of resources and power in fewer and fewer hands. And now with things like digital ID heading down the line, I think people are beginning to see, people of all political stripes are beginning to see a sort of technocratic dystopia in the future. Plus, of course, the disintegration of international law and the so-called rules-based order. And they don't like what they see, and they're waking up to the fact. And we're seeing more and more citizen activists on that score. I would urge people to go as well and have a look at new activist art and music being created by some friends of mine at Slam Dunk Massive, who are putting out hard-hitting videos pointing out some of the things that go on, because some people prefer to watch a video than just listen to talking heads. So, last point, the Starmer government here in Britain, the avowedly Zionist government, is disintegrating. The new Jeremy Corbyn Zara Sultana party, which doesn't even have a name yet, is polling level with the Labour Party. Believe it or not, we have a governing party that in the most recent poll is shown to command the support of just 15% of respondents. 1 in 7 support what the Starmer government is doing. We've got this sort of bizarro Zio-fascist government that came in under the cover of somehow being progressive and liberal, although Starmer, is on camera saying that he is fully in favor of war crimes. And a lot of people have got buyer's regret. So the Starmer Sultana party vastly outpolling the Workers' Party of Britain as well, extraordinarily.
No, the Corbyn Sultana.
That's
Sultana.
right, the Corbyn Sultana party.
Yeah,
yes.
Corbyn. Yeah. Well, good luck to them. Who knows? They could be handing power to probably the worst fascist of all. Looks like Nigel Farage.
Yes.
It's going to end up being a capital F by the looks of it. Doesn't have any policies other than stop the boats. This is like nothing else. No economic, nothing, no foreign policy, nothing. Just immigrants. And watch this over here. So anyway, not looking forward to that one. But we shall see. Thank you very much, Basil Valentine. Thank you, Ruckus, again, and Hesher. Thank you to everybody. And a big thank you to you, our audience. You guys make it happen. And thank you for your participation in the comment threads. Every week, it's you, our audience, on Rumble, on YouTube, on Facebook, at 21st Century Wire's chat room, at ACR's chat rooms as well. You guys make this show happen. You are the living, breathing DNA of this program. You always have been since the beginning, and we really appreciate you guys very much. The Sunday Wire would not be anything without our loyal listeners and our loyal viewers. So thank you very much. And that's why we go through the effort of doing the show for you guys. And because we know that you're engaged, that you care, and this is why we're here. So thank you very much once again. And if you guys want to support us, obviously we talked about liking and subscribing on that YouTube platform. It's absolutely essential. If you guys can just run over there real quick, like and subscribe this episode on this live stream. We'll leave it running for a couple more minutes with some great music independent artists that we'll feature in just a few minutes before we round out the episode. But also, if you want to support us a little bit more, you go to the donate page, which is on our website. just go to the upper left-hand corner. On the menu, you'll see the gold button, Donate Here, where you can subscribe to 21wire.tv. That's a monthly subscription that helps us on a rolling basis to do and produce all this content, which we're running on a daily basis on our website as well. So you can definitely help us there. Different ways: PayPal, credit card, crypto. Membership obviously is the most preferred, monthly. And those of you who have, it goes a long way. And we have made some great strides in terms of the quality of our content. We've got a great Sunday screening up as well about George Abdullah. It's a pretty incredible story. It's French and English subtitles, but it's a great documentary. We don't have that up on screen, but just go to our website. Sunday screening documentary every Sunday. We missed the last couple of Sundays just because of some reconfiguring we're doing on the editorial side, but we've got it rolling once again and should get more interesting going forward. We've got some new people helping to curate the documentary films as well, so you see some different content, some interesting content. But support us, donate, one-time donation, drop us $5 monthly. It all helps, and it helps in a big, big way. So if we can get, a few more dozen people on board there to help with, let's say, monthly memberships, that will be able to fund quite a lot in terms of what we want to do in terms of expanding the content as well. We've already added the Midweek Wire. It's been very successful. We'll keep it going. The quality of analysis midweek is just it's unparalleled as far as I can see from other shows. Obviously, my deference to my great colleagues and who I work with, and I'm a contributor on their program, like Kavork Almasian. Of course, big shout out to Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, Danny Haifong, Rachel Blevins, and Jamal Thomas. These are all great podcasters, and I rate their analysis extremely high, and definitely we are on that level, and so we share that level with our other great informed colleagues, and we want to do more. And to do more, we're going to need your help. So we're doing well. The independent media in general on this tier is doing extremely well, but we could be doing a lot better, and we need your help to do that. If you miss any of the Sunday Wires, they're on the archive on our website. Just go there. So if you miss the live show, you can always catch it afterwards. It'll be there. And we usually have pretty good numbers on Rumble. Actually, our Rumble audience is growing, so that's a good thing. Anyway, let's keep this thing going. Let's push it harder and take care, you guys. That's all I got time for. Again, Patrick Henningsen, your host. 21stCenturyWire.com is our website. Check me out on Substack too. I've got a new page there. Go ahead and like and support that. We'll be adding different content, totally different than 21stCenturyWire.com. A little more personal, but nonetheless, I think it's going to end up being a good venue. Substack, just put my name, Patrick Henningsen, into Substack, and you'll find my page there. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. Take care, you guys. I'll see you on the midweek. All the best.